I think we have one person who's been struggling to log in. That is Dennis Sling. I hope he makes it. When he gets on, we'll give him time to introduce himself. Thank you guys for coming through. We've heard from almost everyone, actually rather everyone, and it's quite interesting. Like I'd said previously, in a team or gathering like this one, first of all, you've committed your own time. You'd rather have been doing something completely different. So, but you've committed your time to come to this meeting because there is an interest that you're pursuing. So, and this interest is driven by the need to feel or to solve a problem that you want. And the problem could be either um, enhancing your skills in the fields that you've seen, or it could be a work-related problem that maybe you've identified an opportunity that you want to solve through whatever is going on in this in our sessions. So it's a good thing. You've made it to this meeting. I really want your full participation. Let it not be a loss. Go for what you want, and the only way you'll go for what you want is when you talk your mind. And in such a meeting, it's important that you speak your mind, and we track and evaluate our progress. So day one is to identify what the problem is, the solution. We are organize ourselves in a way to work towards solving that problem. And then frequently we have to evaluate ourselves and see, are we making progress? There is no shortcut to it, and every single time we must make sure that we're evaluating our progress. Isikue kama the norm, isikue kama the norm. And I know the norm, and in most WhatsApp group, you're a member, but you're struggling alone. You're a member in so many WhatsApp groups, but you're not getting the help that you need. I would want us to be different. I would want us to be open. I would want us to be solution oriented. Let's be there for each other. And one person is struggling with one thing. Through the projects and through the discussions we're going to pick up, let's build solution, and let's work together. And let's start by this meeting. So in this meeting, it's going to be an open forum where we are going to listen to the proposed structure that we are going to adopt moving forward, and then contribute how you feel it can work better, and how we can make sure that we actually build production-ready solutions. And the guys who are currently in intermediate 2, they will tell you that there's one thing I've always said again and again: whatever solution that you're building, it needs to be able to go to production. And the reason why the notice board, A4Ayub Noticeboard, was started is to be able to provide or fill in a gap that exists. You as a student, you as an ML engineer enthusiast, or you as a data scientist enthusiast, you might know a few things, but you might need to know a bit more. You might need a platform to showcase your work. Most platforms there are difficult to configure. Probably they're expensive. You might need support and mentorship from people in the industry, working and solving problems in the industry. So I created this WhatsApp group, not just to listen to what is going on out there, not just to share content, but actually to build something. So in the notice board, A4Ayub's notice board, the agenda is to share content, what's going out in terms of technology. We share job opportunities, we share even encouragement quotes. But the most thing that would differentiate us from the rest, we need to build something that is outside there. And once it's out of there, you can say, I participated, and this was my contribution, and this is what we are doing. So it is something that anyone can interact with. It can be a credit scoring problem. It can be a natural language processing problem. It could be a time series problem. It could be whatever it is that drives your passion. So the platform is just, how do we get there? And that is why I thought it wise to have this first meeting. There've been a huge influx in terms of membership growth. The past 2 weeks, I've observed quite a number of guys came on board. My hope and prayer is the guys who came on board are committed, and I want us to be committed, because without that commitment, itakuwa tu ni mshene, itakuwa tu ni kuongea. Let me quote one very common thing. Not that I'm political or I don't like politics, by the way, but there are some things our brothers and sisters in the political industry, they say, that just make life very interesting, worth living. Ni kusema na kutenda. Let's be that people. Like now, we speak our talk, or we walk our speak. Which one? You get the gist. So let's be different. Build something. You can't. And then one thing, before I just get through to the agenda, one thing that is, I want you guys to know. And I remember there was a time I was speaking to Felista, and she said something some time back that before joining A4Ayub's notice board, she was following tutorials. She's done Coursera. She's done quite a lot of tutorial, but there is a difference from the sessions ever since she started the class. That was her feedback. She's in this meeting. If I'm wrong about it, she can correct. But I want us to pursue what we individually believe will make our lives better, whether it's improving our skills. Come what may, usipoipata kwa hii notice board, tafuta pali utaipata and you get it. And one thing you need to know is you cannot do it alone. Just like Felista was reading and going through this by herself, while she got the concepts, it was raising some questions. And with one thing about machine learning and data science, it's a team sport. So you cannot study and be proficient individually, because you need to get the thought of someone else. You need to get the mindset, or someone else needs to challenge your approach. Someone else needs to challenge your approach. And when they challenge, it's not in the bad faith. It's only to make you consider and go back to your drawing board and find out whether or not there is a point. And through that, you learn. And that is what this notice board will give you. Yeah. So I had mentioned that you're going to do, there are 3 approaches that I want to hear views from each one of you, hopefully. And the first one, the difference is that previously we were doing Saturday classes where we come. Before Corona, we used to meet in a certain office along Gong Road, where I could take through guys certain concepts from beginner all the way from understanding what machine learning is about in very, very simple language. And then all the way now, guys are talking about time series and more advanced topics. So that was the approach through a class session. Now, the first difference that I want to bring is I create, we don't depend only on the Saturday classes. The Saturday classes would be specific. Yeah, it will be specific, but the approach is I'm going to be speaking and recording specific snippets. And these specific snippets are tackling specific tasks. It could be a simple task as how to write code to view a bar graph, for example, or even a pie chart, and you do it and it's recorded and you can follow through the code. So these snippets will be very, very specific. It could be a snippet of introduction to machine learning in a language that is very, very simplified. So the approach is we don't wait for Saturday, and we don't have beginner, intermediate, and advanced classes. Depending on where you want, you get a snippet and you go and listen to it. And if you have questions, you direct those questions to me. And then I will now filter through all the questions and put it on the wall. All the questions that I've received, put them on the wall. And all the members will now then vote which question needs a class. So if we have like 5, if I receive 10 questions and 5 are similar, so that question forms the highest number of respondents rather, then you guys now decide, let's go with this one, and then the next one is this one. And then I prepare a Saturday in which that particular question is what is addressed. The advantage of that is it walks the journey with you. Because on the past, I've seen that maybe the attendance could be affected by, because maybe you're doing a certain project and it is not in line with what you're going to attend, what you're going to teach in class on Saturday. So that is the first difference. So I will be doing snippets of specific topics. And I will start, there are so many content, there's so much content. I have like over 500 slides covering from the very, very basic basic intro to machine learning, all the way to deep learning stuff, convolutional neural networks, artificial neural networks, and doing, it's quite a lot. So I want to split this into specific snippets that you guys can access and help you in your own studies. Now that is the first thing. Now the second thing is, I had mentioned number two, we had number one, number two. Number two is when you have a personal project and you're solving it. You're not so green in machine learning, and you're solving this problem and you're struggling with something specific, yeah? You have a solution you are working on. Unlike the first case where you don't have a solution. You just want to know and understand a certain concept. So you go get that snippet and listen to it and understand it, and then go to another one. So you create your own path by just reading the, or listening to the snippets. The second one is where you have your own project, you identify your own problem, but you need some guidance in specific areas. It could be specific code that you need. It could be a specific understanding of a concept that you need. You're struggling to understand that concept. So the feedback with that is, I will get, for example, if it is a group of people are doing EDA, exploratory data analysis, and they're struggling with coming up with the hypothesis, yeah? Someone would say, in your own project, you have a section you want to come up with a hypothesis, or you're doing exploratory data analysis. So you decide, okay, now I think I need help, and then you come to the wall, the same drill. The question you pose, I classify those questions, and then I ask the entire group, and the group will decide on which one to be done. And then I schedule a meeting where we do specifically that. So through that, you will be learning and you'll be making progress in your own individual project. And you'll be learning through a team of guys who actually can resource. Because when you bring a question on the wall, it will be beneficial to every single person. Because that question, you can decide, okay, now let me try and help this guy. I go research, I understand the concept. Whether or not you will give the answer, or someone else will do it, you will have learned something, and the person who raised that question will have gotten the answer, and their project will be moving forward. So that is how we want to cohesively exist and build and learn together as we build those solutions. So as an individual, you're making progress, and as a team, we are also learning from those individual projects. And at the end of the day, we are moving forward. Now, the last one is where we have specific projects that actually solve the problems that we've identified and agreed upon as a class, yeah? So this one is in line with a platform I'm building, and it's in line with the vision I have in terms of providing a platform where students' expertise, because we definitely in such forums, we are not at the same level. There are some who are completely green, and there are some who have done models, deep learning models. There are some who are even doing crazy stuff outside there, yeah? They will come on board at some point. Now, the advantage of this is I want to build a platform where the good guys who have reached somewhere can participate by reaching out to the guys who are learning and providing answers and solutions, and not only providing answers to their questions, but building a platform within which they can actually showcase their work. And this platform is driven by one, you might be a student, you have a model, but how do you go and convince someone, even a customer, yeah, that I've done this and it is beneficial? One, you will need a website, and you'll probably need an Android app, or you'll need a web app. You don't have development skills, you don't have, so the domain within which you need to do to be able to showcase your capability is wide. Like now, I would want to hear from Sharon, what are some of the challenges they're facing as a startup with regards to what they're doing? It would be good for us guys also to listen from her, as she's a member of this team. What are some of the challenges she's doing? But what I foresee is, as a startup or as an individual person doing either business, you want to start your own business, or you want to look for employment, there is so much that is expected of you, and yet there is little resources within your reach. You have a laptop. How do you build a model? You need to learn about it. Now you build a model, how do you showcase that it's actually going to work? As in, that model makes business sense to those people who are about to employ you. So if they listen that you built a model, and there are actually people using that model, whether if it's being used by one person, two people, three people, when they hear that, you'll be at an advantage than someone who just did a model and cannot link the model to the value the business can have. So for example, Alvin mentioned he's in credit scoring company, A4Ayub, that they want to find out defaulters. So there is so much Alvin needs to do. First, he needs to learn about credit scoring, a classification machine learning problem. And he needs to do, I highly doubt he will get the resources, depending on the size of the company and the level of access you're given to the data. So if you're in a level where you're not given a lot of data, you need to articulate your capability using a different platform. And once you do that, yeah, that's when you go to your boss and tell them, I can actually build a credit scoring model, because when I use this data and I exposed it this way, and this is how it's working. If you want it, this is the platform. So there is so much expected of us as guys who are looking for jobs, and guys who want to sharpen their skills, or guys who want to start to run startups, because the number of things you do is so much. You're the programmer, you're the marketer, you're the IT admin, you're everything. So that is where this the third project-based sessions is driven. So I wouldn't want to say that I know everything, but I know I can build and shorten the journey for you guys. First of all, I'm going to showcase to you the platform that I built using Django, and the platform within which we will showcase our capabilities and our learnings on natural language processing, and I'll walk you through that. So the same platform, I am a developer. In this class or in these sessions, there are so many other developers. And even as we develop as software engineers, there is so much we need to learn as developers to make our code better, to make our code secure. So there is so much we can learn and practice if we don't have test environments in our offices. So if you don't have access to test environment, now this becomes the same thing. Through a development platform, we can team up and make this environment ready. Once this environment is ready, you build, if you want to be a machine learning engineer, you build models, and every other thing is left to be done by the team. So that is the split, how I would want us to move forward. And the third project-based learning, we not only identify the project, but we will go through every single step the way it's done by corporates. Every single step. You have to be very patient. We are not in a rush. The idea and objective is to sharpen and do the best practice, how it's supposed to be done. So we identify a problem and we analyze that problem and understand two things. One, is it a machine learning problem? If it's not, and we're still interested in solving it, how then do we solve it? If it's not a machine learning problem, then we solve it using a different approach. And if it is a machine learning problem, then we need to convert that problem from being a problem and make it understood as a machine learning problem, and then we start solving. And solving it means after every 2 weeks, we must make progress. So this is not a class or a session that is going to be normal. Now, musishtuke and don't be scared, because if you really want to see the results, then this is the reality you have to face. You have to be committed, and you have to evaluate yourself, and you have to stretch yourself thin. This is where all this will be happening. So if you want to see results, then it has to start with you. And because you've started, you've joined this class, it's a good step. So after identifying that, there is something called Agile. We will use Agile methodology. After every 2 weeks, if you are in a project, you have to deliver something within a project, whether or not you're working. So if you're working, you have to create time for this. Because after 2 weeks, we have to say, okay, this is where we are reaching. These are the challenges, and this is how we move forward. Okay, having said that, one last thing I want to say before now I get feedback from everyone is all sessions will be recorded. And the main reason being is, one, there are people who join the meeting and drop off because of either data bundle issues, because of network issues, and maybe I'm honestly not able to join because I have commitments elsewhere. So the main reason for recording is for that purpose. And then to be able to allow more people to follow through at their own time. And then the second reason for recording is there are certain recordings that are going to be exclusive. And because I want I'm saying exclusive for 2 reasons. We are all humans, and all of us, we are not the same. We are not the same. That is the reality. I've worked with groups before, and some people just like to, how do I call, kusindikizwa watu. You see, there are people who are self-driven, and they're committed, and they can put a lot of work into something, but there are some people who, unfortunately, piggyback. They take advantage of someone else's hard work. They take advantage of someone else's commitment. And then when it comes to now celebrating the achievement that has been done, they take advantage of that. So because of that, some recordings are going to be exclusive through an exclusive access. And especially it's going to be for group 2 and group 3. Group 2 is a personal project. So the recordings for personal projects will be exclusive only for the people who are running personal projects, where we discuss and help them solve their own personal projects. So because you need to engage and participate. And then group 3, where we identify a problem, all those sessions will be recorded and will only be accessed by guys in group 3. For the first class, I am the one who's doing all those recordings. I'm the one who's doing all the snippets. All the snippets on how to do certain things, all of that will be available to everyone in the wall. All you need to just do is go, read at your own time, and make your own decision. So that is what I propose to form our new framework. I would really want to hear from you guys. I think some people have dropped off because of bundles. But I would want to hear from you guys, your thoughts, and we are going to use the same drill. I'll just call your name. Be as open as you can. There is no rush. I'm not going to stop you. But you need to be mindful of there are other people who would want to contribute as well. So because we are few, we have time for everyone. And I think now it's open.
Let me ask before I drop out.
Yes.
The first question, do you now have the number of people who are ready to participate in that? Like the total number of people?
It's open. I've not selected. I think it's going to be driven by interest. So the projects will be
And then the second.
Yes.
And then the second question. Maybe after all these corona stuff is over, I think most of the people are from Nairobi, right?
Yes.
Can there be like meetups maybe on weekends in a specific place?
Okay. I know that can be done.
Yeah.
Right. That was Sami, yes?
I'm through.
Oh, that is Sami, yes? That is Sami?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay. That's fine. All right. So, Sami, those are the only questions you had, huh?
Yeah, as per now, that's the only questions I have because of my data.
I get it. It's okay. All right. So let's go to Alvin. Alvin, fungua roho. Let me unmute you. Alvin, are you together?
Yes. Hi, Ayub.
Hi, Alvin.
So, for me, I think the third option is the best for me. The project-based learning path. I believe in learning through doing something. So I think for me, I really want to go with the option number 3.
Okay. And which project would be of interest to you?
Okay, so currently what I have in my mind is the credit scoring project.
Credit scoring.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Alvin. Let's hear from Danson. I know you've just joined. I'm not so sure if you heard the discussion. Quite a lot have been said. But I'll just give you some time to introduce yourself and then make your contribution. Danson?
Hello.
Hi, Danson.
Hi. Yes, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, I've just joined the meeting, so I'm not very ready.
Okay, then let's give you the last, you'll contribute to the last, as the last person, yeah? Just follow through. And then I'll give you a brief.
Yeah, sure.
You contribute.
Yes.
All right, okay, perfect.
Okay.
So the next person is Edgar. Edgar?
Okay, I just have 2 questions.
Yes.
The first one, as a for contribution, can someone have more than, can one have the personal and the group project? Do the 2?
The way I would answer that is it depends on your capability, because what I'm seeking out is commitment as well as the output. If you believe that you can actually balance through the 2 and make a maximum output out of it, then there's nothing. I'm not going to prevent you from doing both. But what I'll actually be keen on, and I'll be doing the follow-ups. What I'll be keen on is the progress you're making, because especially on the project list, because the personal project you do it at your own pace, no problem. But if you are on the project phase, after every 2 weeks, I would want to like review the project, how far you're going. Are you understanding? Are we making progress? And when are we going to release the first version to out there and start making noise about it and iterating? So that progress, I'll be like the policeman. So and our for project based. So if you can balance both personal and project based, I have no problem.
Okay.
Yeah. And the second one, you said you had 2 questions.
Yeah. I don't know if I missed it or you failed to mention it, I don't know. Now about the Saturday classes, the ones you used to have, are they still there?
I'd mentioned okay.
We'll incorporate them.
Okay. I want to hear your feedback. What I'd proposed is the Saturday classes be driven by the questions that come through. So
all right, okay.
The questions that come through might be generated from the projects you're doing. And if if we find a question that is common across several groups, because I foresee a situation where we'll have several projects, maybe 3 projects, and we work we work as teams within those projects. So we'll need to reach out to each other. Like I said, machine learning and data science is a team sport. Even where I work, I don't work alone. I work in a team of 12 people, and there is a lot of benefits working as a team. So the same mode we will adopt with projects. Okay. And we identify like 3 projects. So the questions that generate out of those projects now form the basis of the Saturday class. So so if we are to start, for example, we agree on the projects, and then we start on the projects, and then the questions are generated. For example, we now have a list of 10 questions today. Today is Saturday. By today, we have a list of 10 questions. Now, those questions, we vote on them, say between today, Sunday, and Monday. And then by Monday, the voting is closed. And then we know that now this coming Saturday, this is the exclusive topic that will be addressed. So we can come up with 2 classes that addresses 2 topics. One topic for the personal group, and then one topic for the project group. Okay. Yeah, so that is the new proposal. I don't know. I want to hear from you guys what you think.
Okay, it's not bad. I understand it. Actually, it will even make it easier. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I think that's all I had. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we go to Edgar. Erico. Eric, tuko na wewe ama ulishalala?
Niko.
Fungua roho. What's your thoughts?
My thought actually, the third one is one of my most exciting one. Because I don't know if it's because we were gearing up to it as the second intermediate, the first intermediate, but it's something that I was feeling is one that is going to help us because we are learning in a team. And when learning it in a team, it's kind of something that I've come to enjoy mostly. You're able now to try out things. When something now is a problem, like you have something in mind, a target in mind you have to do, and that's the project aspect. You have something in mind, you have like a target to do, and when aiming to get to that, to hit that target, you get to learn different things. You get to even research, do a personal learning yourself, and all that. Now, the thing that the other 2 sort of don't resonate with me a bit is because they also come part with the project. Like one, you are learning by yourself. You're going through to achieve the specific project dynamics. You have to also go and read up and learn a bit of things. Then you come back and showcase what you have. And you find these, you are aimed at a certain group, at a certain end. If it's about to come and ask you and have like a personal chat, it's more of I'm referring to something I already have a problem with. Because for me, even my understanding of learning, I've never really learned with me going to just read something with no aim in mind. Have like an aim to really understand that, to have an understanding of it, how it goes, and be able to at the end showcase, okay, this is what I was able to do. And as learning also, it enables us to improve our portfolio at at a stronger point, because you are showing a project you already did, and it's not like you're saying, oh, I learned this and this. You will be like, I learned this, and to prove to you that I did this, look at this project. This is the project I worked on. So the project basis is one of the best thing I could say we can really work on. And the way we had already started with NLP, going to go through one particular project, whereby we are all working on the same project, but we are taking a lead. That's a great way to go with that. Like for new things, we do like a project kind of basis. And then for now, like the one whereby we are in groupings, I'm with Grace and I'm with is it Shar? Yes, we're in groups, and you see with this grouping, we're able now to go to this project and work on it. Now, the only individuals I feel like will be at a stronger head are those that need the basics, whereby at this point they can be able to come and speak with you.
Yeah. Okay, and that is the reason why I planned it like 3 classes, and all right, three learning paths. Sorry, 3 learning paths. The first one is, you see, like right now we called for the meeting and not everyone has come, probably because the others have some commitments elsewhere, but it means they might want to just hear and learn. So the idea of building those snippets is particularly for them, so they learn at their own pace the subjects that they are own interesting. If they want to take it to the next level, then they will need to pick an individual project and either join the personal project learning path or the group project learning path. So the group project learning paths are actually steered and coordinated by myself, where I'll be creating timelines and I'll be tracking the achievements at specific levels and helping you guys through solving problems and coordinating, getting solutions and answers, so that at the end of the time, at the time that we agree, we have a project that we are plugging into the portal. So it's the portal could be the mobile app and the web app, and I'm going to show you where we've reached with that. So I agree with you, Enrico. All right. Okay. Thanks, Enrico. Let's go to Grace. Grace?
Yeah, okay. So I liked the personal learning paths because sometimes you might build something, but you need another set of eyes to look at it so that they can point out your flaws or so that they can provide a bit of guidance. So I think that will be helpful for every individual person that wants to build something or wants to create something. And then for the project one, yeah, I also think that it will be helpful because sometimes our work can keep us really busy, and then whatever work we are doing at that time is not necessarily building up our skills. So I think at least this will be there in the background, helping us to continue building our skills and getting efficient. So I think that will work well as well. So I'm not sure whether this is going to apply to every person who comes into the class, or will they get like a bit of basics before they start?
All right, for the project, yeah, for the project learning path, yeah?
Yes.
For the group project learning path.
Not just the group learning, so if a beginner comes in, if a new person joins the class, so are they going to use the same model, or are they going to get a class where they'll get a few basics?
Okay, all right. So I've not concluded on the thoughts, but let me share with you guys with what I have in mind, and then you guys can actually contribute it. What I have in mind is a project should not have a maximum of 3 guys, more than 3 guys. It could be maybe 4 at the most, yeah. And then if there is a new guy and they have an idea of a project, the first thing they will do is fill up, like now 3 people, yeah. And then the way we are running project, it's going to be a new guy cannot join a running project, yeah, because a running project, say Grace, yourself, Sharon, and Enrico on a project. So your project, a new guy cannot jump in. You guys will take charge of your project and the calendar. But if a new guy joins A4Ayub's notice board and they're interested to follow the learning path for project, they need to have a project in mind. And then we scout for 2 more people who can join in terms of learning. And when they join and they're completely clueless about what machine learning is, I will walk through with them from the very, very basic intro to machine learning, everything as they deliver. So those, I would call them the sprints. In Agile, there's something called sprint, and a sprint is 2 weeks. So every single 2 weeks, if you are supposed to have learned about intro to machine learning and maybe if it is exploratory data analysis. So in 2 weeks, you will have learned exploratory data analysis, but within the scope of your project. And what you learn there, you can apply to another project. So it's going to be, that is what I have in mind. So it takes care of new guys, and it takes care of guys who are a bit advanced. And by the time you're taking your project to production and actually having it accessed by users, yeah, you will have learned the entire journey from intro all the way to deployment. And then now you'll be iterating your model based on the opportunities. If your model was at a certain percentage, you want to take it up, you now iterate. Now that becomes your advanced learning path. You learn how to optimize models. You learn how to play around with different models. If you had used basic classification algorithms, now you want to use the same classification, but now using deep learning, you iterate your model using deep learning, and then you learn deep learning techniques. So that is the approach it's going to take, and it has no limit. The limit is where you want to say, now I'm good. Wapi Safaricom, unapigia Robin, simu unamwambia Robin, nataka kuja kuchukua kazi yako sasa. So that is what I have in mind. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, that answers it. Thanks.
All right. All right. Any other thing? Grace?
No, nothing else.
Okay, perfect. All right. So the next person is Ibrahim. Ibrahim Funguaro.
All right. Hi guys.
Hi, Ibrahim.
Hello.
So I think first of all, I'd like to appreciate you because I see that you're very concerned about this. You're helping out. The fact that you're saying you'll be following up. The fact that you're emphasizing on commitment. So I think I'd like to appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
Also, the fact that you've noted that there might be joyriders and things like that, because trying to bring a group of people together for a program like this, a self-initiative program like this, it can be a bit hard.
Mm.
Yeah. So for me, I would be interested in the third group, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The project-based learning path, where we'd be learning by building up a project.
Mm.
I guess over time, I can think of the second group, the personal learning path, where you're solving your own problem. But as of now, I don't think I have a problem in hand.
Mm.
And then in relation to that, I just wanted to ask, because machine learning is all about data. And so like you have to have data so that you can, like there's no data science without data.
Mm.
So I was wondering how, let's say you had a problem like a real estate problem where you wanted to, let's say, predict the house prices based on something like the size of the house and the location, things like that. So I was wondering, do you come up with a problem statement first before getting the data, or do you look for data first and then solve a problem? Or and if it's the data first, how can you like get the data? Where do you get the data rather than just going for cable and maybe just websites, things like that? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a very thanks Abdi. Thanks Abdi. That's a very good question. Our approach in solving or even the project learning path is the first thing we must do is come with a problem statement. The data will only be will be a concern once we understand what we need to solve. Once we know what we need to solve, we will go seek the data. And some of the approaches of accessing this data are because we want to just simulate and articulate our skills, some of the data we can go to Kaggle and download that data, but we create our own problems or solve or articulate our own problems. Another approach I want to take with regards to data, depending on the problem that you want to solve. One of us might be good in scrapping data from various sites. We could engage this person who writes a script to scrap data, for instance, from Facebook groups, for instance, the conversation. Right now we are going to do NLP, and I want someone who has done this before, who is able to scrape data, conversational data from Facebook, and I'll just mention that. We engage and we get the data that we need to use in class, and it needs to be as raw as possible. Once we get that data, then our classes starts. So that would be the project, the path. We need to understand what the problem is. We need to agree on how we are going to get this data. Is it from a public repo or from scrapping websites or scrapping, yeah. And then after that, the classes begin. And when the classes begin, depending on your level of your group, it starts from the bare bottom, which is intro to machine learning. Does that make sense, Abdi?
Yeah, definitely.
So guys, before we move to the next, guys, I would want us to take a 5 minutes break, please. Simu yangu haiwachi kulia. I need to attend to 2 urgent items. Can we join back at exactly, I know it's taken long, at exactly 4:15, please. Iko sawa?
Sawa sawa.
Sawa.
All right, so let's just come back at exactly 4:15. Okay, I'm back. So there's Josephine. I don't know if Josephine, you're with us. This is almost done.
Hi, yes, I'm here. I like the new method of approaching this because it gets to fit everybody in, and you're able, for example, me, I'm a beginner, naweza fika point nijiaminie and I move to the next level instead of waiting till the next intermediate class to begin, you know. Yeah, and I was wondering, how are you going to address the issue when COVID ends and things are back to normal, about geographical location, some of us school so far away from the meetups, so that's an issue with attending meetups.
I know there was someone who raised the same question before Corona, and I think these sessions will, the Zoom sessions will continue even after Corona to enable to go beyond Nairobi. So the meetups, if we have meetups, I'll actually make it a point that even guys far away can join the meetups through Zoom. So we'll run the projects through Zoom, so that as many people as possible can join.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you.
All right, Josephine. Okay, we have Robin. Robin?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. For me, I'd want to go through I like the 3 approaches, and for me, I think I'd like to go through the journey. But first of all, I'd like to get my basics right. Yeah. So I think for me, the best path would be to start from the option number 1. Just to get and understand and grasp the basics first. At the moment, I don't have any project per se, but I'm sure in due course. But even if I had a project, I would still have gone through the basics, just understand the basics. And like I had mentioned, we do a lot of analysis. So I also need to get my statistics basics right. I think the last time I was in a statistics class was over 10 years ago.
I tell you, you're not alone. Some of these things, I remember I was actually in JQuat, so those guys in JQuat, you have your alumni here. But I did maths and physics. So some of these things, I have to go back and try and understand some of these maths that we did. Unajua sisi tulienda JQuat kumaliza shule. Hatukwenda kujua linear algebra. Sasa hii tumekuja tumeona linear algebra inahitajika, nasema okay, wapi zile vitabu?
Yes.
So yeah. I feel you.
Yeah, so I really want just to polish up, just get the basics right. Because what I believe, once you have those principles right,
yeah,
then you are in a position to now go into project. And for the project, as much as my interest is in basically customer experience, I'd want to have an open mind whereby even I can get and do a project from another domain, like maybe health or credit scoring. That's why I think I'm so much interested in the basics, the basic principles. Then I think once I've done, I'd want to do a project on my own, which would allow me now to apply the principles I've learned. Yes. Then now
you move to
the next step, the next year to the group. I think there you become, once you've done a project with the experience, you offer value. You offer value to the group, yes, because you also don't want to go into a group session and you're the guy who's
asking
when guys are given, or you're given a task, everybody has delivered on their task, you're the one who's letting behind. And you see, like in group projects, one failed delivery delays the entire project.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want a path whereby from the basics until the project.
All right. So that's good feedback. Thanks, Robin. I'm definitely going to show you guys the platform, and I can see Timo. We are actually to you. Over to you. You've raised your hand. Timo, go ahead. Ama alikuwa anafanya UAT.
Zizi.
Timo, fungua roho.
Wanipata?
Nakupata kabisa. Yes.
Nice.
Go ahead.
So, ukatustua kidogo about the group project. Ukisema you'll follow up. So, in which way?
Now, my following up is, it's like I'll be guiding you guys and monitoring in terms of where we are supposed to be at by when. So if we come up with a project, and depending on your level of understanding, the very, very first thing we need to do is to be able to come up with a problem statement. Yeah, we need to spend the first 2 weeks just discussing the problems and how do we coin and translate the problem outside there and coin it and translate it to a machine learning problem. Now, once that is clear, the following 2 weeks, we have to explore ways of getting the data that would help us support the problem that we envisage. Then if there is need to scrap data, if there is need to look for the data in Kaggle. So the second sprint is to get that data. And then the third sprint, yeah, which now becomes the third week, the third 2 weeks period, we start the sessions. And depending on the level of the group members, we can start from the very, very basic, understanding now what machine learning is, understanding EDA, building models on a specific algorithm. Yeah. So the journey now, that is the learning path for, especially if it is green. So my role is definitely going to be, when I mentioned I'm going to be like the police, my role would be just to make sure that you guys have what you need in terms of skills. You guys are supported in terms of, if we agree at the beginning that at the end of these 2 weeks, this is what we should have accomplished, then I will be there to ask you the difficult questions. And so when you know that you're working with someone behind your back, you're more likely to do what is necessary. Yeah. So that would be my role, giving you and teaching you the concepts that you don't have, and giving you guidance on how other areas or other places things have been done, or even if need be, I could speak to some of my colleagues and ask them if they can come and help in terms of providing answers and more guidance. Like I said, this is a team sport, and my role would just to make sure that we, at the end of the period, we achieve what we all agreed that we wanted to achieve.
And then you said there'll be various groups of 4. That's how you had said.
There is a group that started earlier. They have projects that they are doing, and we were just about to start that, and then we are here, like refining it. Whether or not they are going to change their problem statement, it's dependent on their project that they're doing.
So, and you said you can't join one which has already started.
The main reason being, one, I wouldn't want to have a group of more than 3 people, because we are working from geographical areas. So it is a bit tricky to have a big group working from different areas. You might find that one person might not be as strong, either being left behind. The group dynamics, it's a bit tricky. That's the main reason. And then the second reason is trying to fit in the interest of, it's easier to convince a few people. Like it's easier to convince 2 people that, hey, look, let's team up and come up with a credit scoring model, as compared to convincing, like, say, 5 people. Yeah. So if you just get 2 people that are of the same interest on credit scoring, it's easier to team up and get started as soon as possible as compared to a big group. That is the main reason why I propose that projects not to be more than 3 people. So if the initial groups are already filled up, you really cannot join. And because if you're a beginner and then you join it and they are probably in their phase of testing advanced mode algorithms, like now deep learning algorithms, and you're still on intro to machine learning, there'll be no benefit to you. There'll be no benefit to you joining such a group.
True.
Yeah.
And if you have an idea right now, you can even form the team.
Absolutely.
Who sit on the group, then one who is interested, how do you get to the team?
So anyone who is interested in a specific project, you can float all that projects to me, and then I will post to the group people to express interest. And then once the guys have expressed interest, then I will team up guys. You guys get to meet and understand. If you have idea of members who you want to work with, well and good. You can recommend, I want to work with so and so and so and so and so and so. I put you guys together, and then we plan a schedule, and this schedule would be the sprints, and what we will be covering each sprint. That's it. And then we
nice.
start.
Nice. Then I heard you had proposed of having like 2 sessions, which is the personal learning path and the project-based learning path.
Yeah. So personal learning path was the personal learning paths was when you have your own project and you want to deliver this project. It's ideal for guys who are either doing a certain project and they're stuck and they can't get help from any other person. But now this team and this WhatsApp group can be of help. It could be either in your work office, it could be your student project, it could be your master's thesis, it could be, it's for your personal project that you want to see to the end. So if you want to see your project to the end, you can, when you get stuck, you can pose a question here, either as a student or a project that you're doing in the office, and you get the answers, and we show you on live stream Zoom how the solution works, and every other person gets to benefit from your question. That is a personal learning path. The project learning path is where the projects, like I said, you guys propose projects, and then I consolidate the projects. I group people. Once I group people into projects, we agree then at project level what is expected after every sprint. A sprint is 2 weeks. So during the 2 weeks, we engage in terms of what you're supposed to be doing. That's the time we can have Zoom sessions on just helping you, this is how you do this. If there is need for a class, we schedule for a Zoom class, and I walk you through what you're supposed to do with regards to that particular sprint objective. So if the sprint objective is to do exploratory data analysis, then that sprint and that Zoom session could be exclusively covering exploratory data analysis. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then sorry, last question.
Yes,
Just
yes.
clarification on the group project.
Yes.
The time you'll be walking us through, is it on a specific day? How like how we were having on Saturdays?
Yeah. So with this one, okay, with this one, we will work at the availability of the group members, but now it can't be Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 5. It has to be either after 5 or Saturday or Sunday. So we will, depending on the number of groups that we have, we will slot, I will be managing the calendar, and that calendar will be scheduled. So you just tell us there is need for us guys to have this class, and please slot us in. When I slot you guys in, we attend the Zoom session, and I run the class. That's it. That's how we'll be moving forward.
Awesome. And then this NLP, natural language processing, the one I'm hearing on Wednesday. When did you start it?
We've only done one class, and it was an intro, and I think the class was recorded and it's on YouTube. Maybe I would share that in the group so that people who missed can actually follow through.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Timothy. Good stuff. Is there anyone that we missed? Felista. Felista alishaongea. Felista.
Hello.
Yes, Felista.
I'll go with project, with the third part for specific projects.
Oh, specific projects, huh?
Yes.
Which project would you have in mind?
Currently, I don't have any project at hand. Yeah.
All right. So what we will do, guys, I'm going to put up specific projects, and if anyone has an idea of any other project, please share that with me. That would form now. I'll put the project up in an Excel Google form. So you express your interest on the specific project you want, and then if allow then consolidate names. You'll probably propose who you'd want to work with in that group. So the Google form would have where you select your project of interest, and you will nominate the person you would want to work with on that project. So based on that, I'll share the results, and then communicate the schedule on how you're going to, the calendar on how you're going to run the project. Will that work, Felicity? Hello? Did we lose Felicity?
Oh.
Hello, Felicity?
Yes.
Oh, that will work, huh?
Yeah, that will work.
Okay, perfect. So I encourage guys to think through. And if you have a project in mind, just share that with me. I'll share the Google form with the list of all projects, and then we get started. Okay, and Danson, please go ahead.
Oh, hi. Sikuwa nimefungua roho.
Sasa ni wakati wako, fungua roho.
Okay, I'll go with the second and the third path, the personal learning path and the project-based learning. And then when it comes to the projects, I'd say that maybe we do each topic we are reading. Maybe we can do a project maybe on NLP, time series, deep learning, okay, computer vision, and all those stuff. And then you can also be providing the slides maybe earlier, because okay, we can look at them, then you come and clarify some other points later in class maybe.
Okay, okay, all right.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. All right.
yeah.
Any so you'll also you'll share the project that you're interested in, yeah?
Okay.
All right, cool. Timo, your hand was raised again. Go ahead, Timo. Timo, or uko sawa?
Oh, sawa.
All right,
Hello.
sawa.
Hello.
Hello.
And in that form, you'll be specifying like a specific project like this. What can I say? Maybe if it's natural language processing, if it's like a specific thing like biometric voice recognition. How will it be those broad ones which you're saying, like customer experience?
So I'll propose. I'll propose. I won't propose complex projects, because you see, you build up on once you deliver a project that is a bit low level or low hanging, you will feel the encouragement to get to a bit complex, like voice processing and speech processing. So for now, I'll just propose basic projects that will require just basic classification algorithms, and a few of image classification problems. Those are for deep learning. Yeah, so you'll pick.
And for the personal learning part, it will also be discussed in Zoom. Ama just you post the time we already have a project, then you're posting your challenges on the WhatsApp group.
So for personal learning path, the way it is, you will forward to me the problem or the questions that you need addressed, and then I'll consolidate all these questions. If for instance I just get one question from the entire team, then automatically that becomes the subject of discussion. So I slot a window, a Zoom session, and I will communicate to anyone who is interested to join, because I'll be explaining that concept, and then that Zoom session will be exclusively for that. So it could be a 30-minute session, it could be a 1-hour session, depending on now the attendance. But the question will be generated from the person.
But you can also engage in all the three parts. For example, the public learning will still be sending stuff on the groups. No?
Yes, you can engage in all those. But my biggest concern would be the progress you're making in the project, because the project, we have to take it to production. We have to. Your personal project, it's upon you to track yourself and make sure that it comes to life. But the project learning path, it is up to me to encourage you guys, to give you the skills and to try and make sure that even with the resources we have, that project that you're doing goes to production. And now you can now start iterating on even marketing yourself on what you did on the project. So it is up to me to make sure that the project learning path actually goes to production.
Yeah.
Just let me pick this phone. Guys, give me before you go, but I'm back. Sorry, guys. Poleni sana. Who was there's someone was speaking, huh? I think we need to finish up. Was it Felista? No, it was Timo. Now Timo has dropped off. Oh, Timo is there. Timothy?
Yeah.
Ulikosha maliza ama?
Hata I think nimesahau.
Sawa.
But
No worries. Okay, perfect. So is there any other person? Sharon dropped off. I don't know if she had a question. I remember there was Sharon. After the meeting, she didn't come back. Is there any other person that has something to say? I want to show you guys the interface, what has worked so far. I want to share my screen. Just give me a minute. I'll show you guys the backend. Where is it? Guys, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Right. So this interface, the NLP project you're building, we are going to rather build. It's going to. I have picked real estate. I've picked real estate. Okay. Are we hacked? Ama huyo ni Eriko. Eriko, unajua ufanya miujiza. Is that you? You want to take over the screen? Eric. Okay. Whoever that is, I hope it's not a hacker. Aanze kutuonyesha hapa vitu hatutaki kuona. I don't know who that is. I'm hoping see one of those guys who are perverts. But let's just finish up. This screen, when you go to Chartify, chartify.com. Let me just open Chartify. This is the platform that I've been building for a while now. And the idea behind it is to enable guys who are, first of all, guys who have either projects that they want to articulate through a real platform, either a website or a mobile app, and they have a limited period within which they can showcase that. They have a model that they want to expose. So you can build your model, and I integrate this to your model and expose it such that your customers or whoever you want to see your project can see it from this platform. First of all, it's because maybe time is limited for you to either build it, or you lack programming skills to build it, or you don't have the money to host it in an environment where someone can actually access it and you continue iterating. So this is a platform. It is integrated to, it has a mobile app, and the mobile app is also called Chartify. So it's CHATYFY. When you go to the Play Store, you'll get it. So the scope of our delivery, the first one, is an NLP project that is going to help, we're going to build a chatbot that is going to help people looking for houses. So if you're looking for a house, can a chatbot help you? Of course it can, because the chatbot will know which house is available, when it's available. So it saves you all the time. It takes you to talk to all these agents and stuff, and you can actually chat with either the owner or the current living tenant. So the scope of the chatbot will be defined in class and refined as well. I have some ideas, but the first thing is, as we learn in class, we will be deliberating and thinking like a corporate, because the idea is, what problem are we solving? So the problem that we're solving is, currently when you're looking for a house, first of all, you go to several websites. You go to this website, you go to this website, and then second step is, after going through all those websites, you'll probably make a phone call to either an agent or a landlord, and discuss for an appointment and visitation. After that, you go and visit. Now, visiting, you have to visit all those phone calls you made. It is a bit hectic, and then eventually agree on a specific one, and then make the payment, and then move in. That is the life of someone who's hunting for a house. But can the chatbot simplify this? You talk to several agents, and then the chatbot presents to you houses that are open. So you do all those steps from an app. Yeah, and the app can be accessed through Facebook, and it can be accessed through Android app. That is the overall scope. So our first NLP project, I would like it to be a low-hanging fruit where we can easily get those conversations, we can easily deliberate and deliver something as fast as possible, so that we can showcase the skills to the people outside there and make noise about it. Now, a lot of work has been done. The Android app is out. The website, the web application is up. I've been sharing tutorials on how I built this app, because that is the idea. If you want to do it by yourself, I document. There is a group called Django Kenya and Django Africa. I've done so far 3 sessions. When I started this, I put it up on. I summarized the steps you need to do on PowerPoint. So those tutorials are there, and you can go through them and set up your Django web app. So you'll learn a lot. And even within the Django framework, there's a lot of learning opportunities in terms of, but we've not started these classes, learning opportunities in terms of how to build a Python web app. So there are so many things to learn. You just need commitment. So this is where we have reached. I'm just going to log out.
Before you do.
Yes.
I wanted to ask, like, wait, the app, is it all these, or because I'm trying to figure out the Taskis Naivas, are those like clients you have done Chatify for?
No, not yet. I did something for Taskis, for ordering food for them, but I've disabled that. I did it for like, I think a year and a half. For unavoidable reasons, I needed to disable it until they were ready. If they needed this, I was just to enable it. So a proof of concept ran for like a year. But the same concepts can be applied to any of these farms. And the advantage is, if you build a chatbot in one farm, all you need to do is either at an individual level, walk into Carrefour or Naivas or any other person and tell them, look, this is what I've done and this, and within a very short time, you did the model, and within a very short time, you have a customer, and as you iterate your model, you get your customers working. So the ideas and what you want to do, let me put it this way, the limit is in your thinking. So what I'm doing is I'm teaching you how to build machine learning models, and I'm helping you get the skills, or even I'm motivating you to go out there and be the best at what you do. Once you build that model, I'm also building a backend that can shorten your journey to close a deal, either with your prospective customer or your prospective employer. So until that point, this is the platform that I'm continuing to build. The reason why I've shut it down is I'm enhancing it. I'm redoing it. I'm redoing everything, and I've shut down the link with Taskis. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that the moment that we are complete, we don't close a deal with Taskis. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
Partially, because I'm really curious. Like, the way it's looking, it looks like WhatsApp, how WhatsApp looks like.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out, is it Chatify that makes them look like that, like your different projects are placed in that manner?
Okay.
Or is it how you want your clients to be able to see their chats on WhatsApp when you link it with WhatsApp?
It's not linked with WhatsApp at all. This is 100% Chatify. It has only borrowed a user journey that many people resonate with. So unlike WhatsApp, this would be an app where services are listed. So if you want, it's like walking into a mall, but the mall that you're walking into is a mall of self-service chatbots. You understand?
Yeah.
So if anyone who is in that mall can get a chatbot that serves them 24/7, and then does a lot of things for them. There is so much. So it is not an integration with WhatsApp.
Oh, okay.
It is 100% built from scratch, and the development is still ongoing. And there is, I started it, and the documentation is there. I will just resend the documentation for how I did this in Django. I'll share it in the group after this meeting. And the next one is how to integrate whatever you're seeing with a REST API And this REST API will now talk to the model that we are building. So we are close to integrating a web app with a model. And this is something that I've done back in the office. And I've done a chatbot that actually handles approximately 74,000 or around 80,000 messages in a day without any marketing. So I'm redoing this for the benefit of the community and for the benefit of enabling the potential of this being commercialized by the people in the community. For instance, if you come up with a deal with Taskis, for instance, you build your model, and you, as a group, you guys work as a group, you build your model as a group, a chatbot, and then you approach Taskis or whoever. It can be a Taskis, it could be a restaurant, it could be whoever you have a link with. And then you go and close a deal, yeah? The best thing I can ask is, can we get a commission? Now, when I say can we, is now can Chatify get a commission out of what you've done? But there's nothing obligating you to do that. You can actually close that deal and replicate. You can replicate whatever you've learned and build your own Chatify and maintain your own customers. There's absolutely nothing preventing you from doing that, yeah? So I'm just building a platform that can actually help people either articulate their skills to prospective employers and either help people who want to venture into self-employment quickly iterate and deliver a production-ready solution to some extent and start earning their own money. Does it answer your questions now, Eriko?
Yeah, it does.
It does, yeah?
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So kazi iko kwenyu. The limit, like I said, is in your thinking. I've tried to really shorten what is required for you to go live. So the interface right now, if you go to chatify.com, you'll see it as it is. I'm actually on it right now. So this is the login. You will see the first interface from the slides. The first interface was never like this. This is the iteration. And the iteration is you learn something new, you come and implement it, you see the change. That is the adoption. You don't have to build something to completion. So you do something for 2 weeks, you see the change. You do another one for 2 weeks, you see the change. In like a month, you'll have made a lot of progress. And the secret is commitment. So when you log in, this would be a different interface, but what I'm focusing on right now is chat. So you access the chat, and this is the interface for the chat. I'm still developing it, yeah? But as per the second sprint, I've done 3 sprints so far. The third sprint was for me to reach here, and I've reached. So there's still some things that are still not working. I'll work on them and make sure that the fourth sprint, the objective is to build a REST API. Once I finish the fourth sprint and build the REST API, it will be in tandem with our model. We do a model, expose it via REST API, and we will come here and test our model. So if our model is focusable, I'll come here and just type this is a test with all A4Ayub students before we start our classes. So when I do that, there it goes. There are of course some things that I need to improve on, like now auto scrolling, making when you type a message, it goes down. So this is it. This is a test message with all A4Ayub students before we start our classes. Now this is going to be our work. So this message will be received by the system, and then it will be sent to the model that we will build in class, and then the model will provide an answer. When the model provides an answer, the customer sees the answer, and we will have our chatbot. So we will have our chatbot ready. Once we have the chatbot ready, we can now start iterating. We can now start iterating. What is our chatbot good at? What is it bad at? And then we iterate. And that way our skills in NLP improves and it gets better and better. And we now start understanding the benefits of using, say, deep learning techniques like building a neural network as a classifier as compared to the normal algorithms as classifiers. So we'll start getting there, the gist of it. So when you're working with a real problem, you get to see the benefits in real time as compared to building a model and competing. While competing in a Kaggle competition is really, really good because it sharpens your skills and it gives you the basics. But the question then goes, can you make that skill, competition skill, resonate and translate to business value? So if you can articulate a chatbot that is smarter, that can answer 50% of the question, it means what you're telling the company is, please deploy your staff to do other better things. Let the company, let the bot do most of the things. If you are not, if you're offering a 24-hour service and your employees can only work 8 to 5, let the bot work after 5. Let the bot work from 5 to 7. So your business immediately translates to a 24-hour company, and then the bot gets smarter. This is the opportunity that is lying right in front of us as a class. So, and the interface is not just for chat. There is so much you can do. You can actually create an account. I tried doing that, but I saw there was a bug. You can try, if you get the email, well and good, create an account, log in, play around with it, and see what it will take. So other things, the interface can change into anything. It's pretty much a very good interface. And most of the thing is done. So what you need to do is define a problem. So if it's a credit scoring problem, can we plug in here a link that someone can actually provide a number or provide a name and rates, scores a new customer who is there. This was good for Alvin. I think Alvin mentioned is in the circle. Depending on the problem you want, can we plug in a page here and make sure that it works and it can actually hit the model at the back and respond back, and the same be accessed through the Android app. This is what I wanted you guys to see. And this is something that I've built from the scratch, ground zero. And it is available for you guys to showcase your skills and the things you learn in machine learning. So what I'm going to seek and what I'm going to ask is commitment, because you are going to benefit in a big way. And in the process, build a community within which we can really solve problems outside here. And we delve into, personally, identify problems affecting our communities, and we solve those problems. And we actually grow our career, either as individuals or as employed people. Yeah. So I think I've really spoken a lot. I'm hoping that the recording does not fail me. I've been recording. For those guys who have dropped out in the process, you can actually play back and make your judgments. Any question? I think I'm done with the demo and everything. And I'm going to take a few more questions and then we call it a day.
Thanks, Ayub. My question is a little bit off, and it's mainly something that has been distracting me for a while during your presentation.
Okay.
What are those two red lines?
I thought it was you. I was even asking, is it, I thought it was you. Somebody is trying to...
I've been trying to figure out. I've been waiting on you switch from one tab to the other for them to change, but they're still there.
I have no idea who this is. Zoom iko na maneno mengi. Check it tena. I don't know what's going on.
Ni mtu anatumia phone.
Oh, ni mtu anatumia phone?
Zoom ya phone ndio niliona iko na hiyo maneno.
Oh, me, I was thinking maybe someone is trying to show us some stuff we don't want to see right now. I was even asking if it is you.
No, it's not me.
Okay. So any other question? Huyu jamaa asitufungie machine hapa. Atuonyeshe vitu zingine mbaya mbaya.
Actually ni kuedit ukitumia simu, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
is the captain?
Now we know. Now we know who it is. Okay. Is there any question? Okay. So yes.
I was not seeing which problem you are solving. That's the chat box with real estate. 3 different agents. How was it going?
Sorry?
You are saying, what is the function of this chat box? To speak
Now,
like if you are...
So it is, first of all, I'm building a chatbot. This one was just to help people get houses. Yeah. I was looking at the current problem, or rather the current process when you're finished campus, you want to move out from your parents' house. What are some of the things you would do? You'd probably go to the several websites and check for available houses, and then identify a couple that meets either your budget and the location you prefer. And then after identifying those, you then reach out and make phone calls, and then schedule an appointment, and then make payments and move in. Yeah, and the same, more or less the same journey for anyone who wants to move from a bedsitter to a single bedroom, or from a single bedroom to 2 bedroom to 3 bedroom. So the process, the question is then, is that process acceptable by house hunters? If the question is it's not acceptable, then what can we do to make the life of house hunters better? Yeah. So in our process, what I'm going to adopt, this is a perceived problem. As it is right now, it is a perceived problem. Yeah. It's what I think is the problem. But now moving forward, we need to see, is it a real problem? So the way to find out if it's a real problem is to engage house hunters, do research, yeah? And in statistics, it's normally, quote unquote, known as literature review. You look at the existing problems, how have they been solved? Has it ever been mentioned before that house hunting is actually a problem? And if it has been, how has it been solved before? And the solution that exists, do they meet the expectations of the house hunters? Because in this case, the target customer is a house hunter. Now, once we identify that problem and conclude that yes, it's a problem because of this and this and this, and the current solution does not meet the expectation of the house hunters, and the gap that we have identified is this, and we are solving it by providing a chatbot this, and this chatbot is going to solve it this way. That is the approach you're going to take. But now,
so this chat box, it's communicating with the customer communicates to various agents. This model is asking the customers if they are unsatisfied. How is it helping?
What I'm trying to say is the problem identification is dependent on what we will pick as a problem as a class. You see, there are so many problems that a chatbot can solve. But what needs to be revealed is the research that we will do as a class and pinpoint. One of the things would be, to some extent, maybe it's real estate agent, a bigger real estate agent, and they have a set of 10 questions that they'd rather not employ someone to answer those questions again and again. Can we build something that, depending on how a customer asks, they get those answers? Yeah, that could be a problem that is specific to answering frequently asked questions for a specific organization. And this organization could be a real estate company, for instance. Now, we do that, we plug it in on Chatify. Once it works, we can go to this organization, look, we built a simulator. Or even you yourself, you can now go to this real estate company guy. I built a model, and through that model, it's answering this. You don't need to employ someone, and this is what I'm proposing. We plug it in on your Facebook. So instead of running only on Chatify, you can have it working on Facebook, and then we integrate their Facebook to this, and they get the chatbot. You get? So the problem needs to be very, very clear, and it needs to be scoped. So there is no single chatbot apart from the Siri and the Google and all this, but even Siri cannot answer everything. So there is no single chatbot that is able to answer everything. That is an exercise in futility. You will never build such a chatbot, but you can increase domain every single day. You start with FAQs, and then you move to something else, and you give it more knowledge, and it learns, it learns, it learns, and it answers.
I've got it.
It makes sense?
It makes sense.
All right. Any other question? All right. So, guys, I think that marks the end of our meeting today. I know some people had to drop off because the meeting has moved a bit farther than we expected, beyond the time we had expected. It's almost 2 hours now, gosh. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to upload the recording for us guys, for those guys who missed, so that anyone who has a project idea, the action items is you guys forward your project ideas, and then I'll consolidate those project ideas together with the project ideas that I have. Since we are starting, we won't have so many projects because we will overwhelm ourselves. It's not practical. So and what we are learning is almost in every project. So if we are learning EDA, model generation, classification problem, either time series problem, time series problem is just a regression problem. It's only that it's with the same variable you're being studied within a specific time period. We cannot do everything. So if you want to capitalize on learning, we need to refine the scope where we will start from. So we will most probably have few projects split into different groups, and then those different groups solving the same project. Or we could have slightly more projects with an extended period of following up. I'll think through and make that, present that to the group. Okay, so that is the action item. If it would be very, very good to have clarity before Wednesday, because Wednesday we will sit and do our NLP. We will continue with our NLP classes. That sounds like a plan?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Grace, are we together?
Yeah, we are together.
All right. So I'll expect you guys to forward project ideas that you have. I'm going to share, or rather, I'm going to share the Google form with the specific project categories. It could be a classification problem, it could be a time series problem, it could be just exploratory data analysis. Like now, you just want to know EDA, that could stand out as a project itself. So you could be doing EDA for the team that is doing a bit more advanced stuff. I don't know, stuff will come up. I'm thinking through this. I will propose and set them up, create a Google form, and then you guys will fill your interest. Then we plan together. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys, and let's chat. Let's engage in the WhatsApp group. All right.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ayub.
Okay. You're all
Thank you.
welcome. Enjoy your weekend. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you for your time, Ayub.
Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. Enjoy the weekend.